jokes account.
Across the UK.
And that just makes you want more.
Well, it doesn't make me want
No, I mean,
more.
I'm just
It might
saying.
make you want more. It doesn't
makes
make
some
me.
people want more.
Yeah. Right, let's talk to Anthony McCarthy, who is from the Society for the Protection of Unborn Children. Hang on, we're not talking about sex education for unborn children here, are we?
That's just going too far.
You know, that is ridiculous. You can't do that.
What, are you going to play it into the womb?
I don't know. Maybe we take a different direction and talk about the ethics of sex and what may happen if you don't know about sex. That's probably a good way to take it, would you think?
Yeah.
Anthony, good evening.
Good evening.
So that is the way we'll take it then. I presume, I don't know, but I presume the Society for the Protection of Unborn Children very keen that we should have compulsory sex education in schools.
Well, surprisingly not. Safe at School is the name of a campaign group which we're associated with. And no, we think parents should be actually trusted a bit more, not infantilized, and not imposed upon by the state in this way. Not least because this is a particularly sensitive area.
Is it?
Where
Why is it sensitive? Why do people say it's sensitive, Anthony? Because it's part of life. And, I don't understand why people go on about it being sensitive. Why is it sensitive?
Well, I mean, people do wear clothes and they dress up and sex can be a very damaging thing, it's a very wonderful thing. We've seen lots of STDs and abortions and people having ruined lives because of the way
so we want
sex. I think you yourself think that it's sensitive in all sorts of ways.
What we want then is we want kids from as early as possible understanding what can happen if you don't have protected sex, what can happen if you're not careful when having sex. Instead of what I hear, a lot of rubbish about telling kids about, you've got to tell them about relationships and how relationships work. Because when I was at school, the only thing I was interested in is seeing how much sex I could get.
Right. Well, I don't know how typical you are. But
I think I'm very typical. I think I'm pretty typical.
You were like this at 4, are you? Or,
don't be ridiculous. I'm having a sensible conversation, Anthony.
We're talking about relationship and sex education from 4.
We're not. We're talking at 4. At 4, kids being told that they don't talk to strangers. If strangers offer you sweets, we're talking about stranger danger. That is what we're talking about at that age.
Sure, but that's not really about sex then. That's about
it's all about sex.
Sensible around people.
Yeah. But it's all it's all under... Listen, you cannot... What are you going to do to those poor kids who were unlucky enough to be born into a family of useless parents, of inane, useless individuals? Are they going to have to suffer because of people like you?
I don't think infantilizing...
You should be ashamed of yourself.
I don't think infantilizing these parents is of any help at all.
What was that word you used?
Infantilize. You're saying
what does that mean?
It means treating them as though they were infants, because what you've got.
Why do you use such ridiculously long words?
What's a fairly common word?
Don't you want to talk to people normally, or are you just are you above everybody else?
Well, not at all. I apologise.
Do you not understand? Don't apologise. Do you not understand that there are lots of parents who aren't interested in talking to their kids about sex?
Well, I understand that there are some parents who are, probably not very good at talking to their children. The question is, what is the correct solution? Is it to take everything outside of parents' direction for everybody by pushing the kind of sex education we've had for decades, which has resulted in massive STDs, disastrous results across
we don't have enough sexual education.
Well, no. First of all, there's no evidence. There's no evidence that the sex education has done any good. Your solution is to push even more and make compulsory something that we know doesn't do any good.
It's not. You don't know that at all.
That seems to be a definition of insanity.
You don't know that at all. There is no.
Where's the evidence that you've got?
There is no sex education hardly in schools. We don't have it on the curriculum. It is occasionally taught, and I'm not actually talking about telling kids how to do it, because believe it or not, Mr. McCarthy, most kids over the age of 10 probably know how to do it.
Well, again, I don't think you've got sufficient evidence for that. But secondly, there is stuff.
Are you
children how to
completely
do- Well, am I
balmy?
allowed to finish a sentence? or
No,
not?
you keep interrupting me. I don't like it. For goodness sake, if you just listen to what I have to say, you might learn something new rather than trotting out what you usually say.
Well, first of all,
First of all,
Another interruption.
there are lots of people out there who don't want to talk to their children about sex. And what you're suggesting is that those children should get no education because you don't want it done in school.
No, I'm not saying that one should never educate children. I'm saying that it should definitely be age appropriate and to treat sex seriously, as I'm afraid you don't seem to.
How do you treat sex seriously?
Well, you take into account that it's a very fundamental part of human life.
What is it for?
If treated
What is it for?
Badly. Well, it's a way of expressing, I would say, if realised properly, committed love, which can also result in the wonder of new life. That's what I think. It is not simply about,
It's for fun, my
pleasure
friend.
at any risk.
It's for fun. It's
Well,
what people
it's not
like
for
to
fun.
do.
Well, people like to take drugs as well. People like to do all sorts of things, but
Yeah.
you need to be aware of the effects
Exactly.
of treating things in a particular way.
we're
So
having-
you could teach 4-year-olds about heroin if you want, but I think that probably isn't a great idea. A 4-year-old has no idea or conception of the kind of things, or a 6-year-old, okay, or an 8-year-old has no idea or conception of what is actually involved in this. So surely you should have something age appropriate, rather than something which, if carried out, would, involve statutory rape of some kind.
I don't know whether I can actually talk to you because, nobody is actually suggesting that 4-year-olds be taught anything other
No, okay, not
than...
4-year-olds. Let's talk about primary school children, okay? I
don't know about you, but I remember in my school around about 8 or 9 years old, I suppose, before I'd taken the 11 plus and failed it. I remember looking at health and efficiency with some of the kids behind the bike sheds in the playground, getting hold of the odd copy of Parade. Anybody remember that?
Yeah.
And having a good old laugh at that. I don't know where you.
So do you think?
I really don't know where your head is at, to be honest.
Razzle.
Razzle,
Well,
that was
I'm
good,
saying-
yeah. Sex is a joke to most kids. You're not going to get them to think about it in the way you want them to think about it.
Well, I
So
think
you
that's
have to
why
warn them
you
of
need-
the problems.
But what you need to do is to try and develop a culture through parents who are very much the natural educators of children. They generally have the best interests of children at heart.
Oh, you are so
not in all-
naive.
Not in all cases.
You are
of course.
so naive.
Well,
You
okay,
must live in a bubble.
Are you a parent?
What's that got to do with it? I'm just a very intelligent, very clever person.
Okay, well, there are
Do
other
you
people
think I'm a
almost
parent?
as intelligent as you that
I haven't met
that can
many.
bring up their children. I'm not, but look, it's not about the intelligence of parents. Do they genuinely love their children, and are they better in that respect than a school with
Even a
40
very
rowdy kids?
intelligent, very loving parent may not be able to discuss sex or the things surrounding the bodily entertainment, if you want. That's a good description, really, isn't it?
Well, but do you think a teacher with a school full of 30 kids at a very inappropriate age, which is what's being proposed here, do you think that is better for the children, where they're all, I remember getting this at 11 or something. It was just hugely embarrassing and just not interesting. Probably a bit different than what
How
you're
did you
talking
learn
about
about
but
sex?
nevertheless.
Did your parents tell you about sex?
To some extent, yes.
I don't think I ever had
and then
a
I gradually,
discussion
but
with
certainly this was later.
Let me hang on. Let me do a little straw poll. Hold on. Did your parents tell you about sex?
Oh, right.
Well, not in the right way.
No. Did Tara? Come here.
Okay.
Did yours tell you about sex?
It's embarrassing.
No, not explicitly.
Okay, so let's have a look. Let's have a look at what the effects of sex education, which should be producing such great results, has had. Far more STDs than ever before.
There are far more people than ever
teenagers.
before. There are far more people than ever before.
As a result of the people in ratio. So no.
No, I'm sorry, you're wrong. There are far more people, And there is, and you don't know.
There's more sex.
Past,
There's more
Yes,
sex.
I did.
you've no idea they didn't have any statistics in Victorian times. What are
I'm
you
not
basing?
talking about Victoria. I'm talking.
What are you
what
talking?
I said was.
What are you
before-
talking
well,
in? You're talking
well,
in the last sort
I'm
of
talking
50
in-
years,
in,
are you?
In 10, 20 years.
Well, the
Right.
last 10 or 20 years.
And we've had statistics. If you read Professor David Pann's work, for example, we've had statistics on all these things.
Really?
And there is a huge rate. Just go to the STD clinics. They're absolutely full. Okay, and all they say is, well, we'll just put condoms out. Well, it doesn't work because that
Well, of course it.
proposes exactly the same problem. If you just say,
hang
let's
on,
have a bit
hang
of
on,
fun,
hang on.
let's
Are
use
you-
condoms,
look,
you get these results.
Anthony, are you really seriously thinking that you're going to stop kids having sex? You're not, right? So the best thing to do is to make it safe for them.
No, I disagree with that. I think what you need to do...
And how are you going to stop Have you got children?
I do.
What sort of age?
Well, one of them's 10, so...
And is he fully, is she or he fully...
no, he doesn't. You know,
He doesn't?
He doesn't, and I think it would be inappropriate for him at this time.
You'll probably find he does.
Well, I might know a bit better because, you know, parents tend to know a little bit better about their children than schools or radio hosts probably. But
I don't have a go at
I mean,
me
what
because you
I'm
won't
saying
win.
is- No, I'm not. Well,
Don't even think
as a
about
matter of
it.
fact, I've been listening to you for many years.
Yeah. Well, then you
It's
should
also
know
a pleasure
better.
to speak to you.
Yeah, you should
But
know better.
What I would say is
When he's
that
16,
if
your
you
son.
think that,
When you're
well, I'll
when
call
he's
you back when
16.
he's 16.
No, when
I'll
he's
call you back.
Yeah, when he's 16, what will you be will you be having the discussion then? When will you have the discussion
Well,
with your
yes,
son?
I'm sure I'll have it. You know, at an older age.
Kids don't
Well
want to
into
have that
secondary
from their
school, I
parents,
imagine.
though, do they? I mean, no one really finds it out from their parents. You find it out from your friends,
but
and
you've
maybe
gotta
these
ask
days
what-
videos or something. I don't know. You know, I mean,
But what are they getting in the schools? And is it right for a school to usurp parents' rights in this area?
Yeah, I think it
that's
is. I
actually a
think it
dangerous
actually
thing.
is. It's society looking after our children. I think it's a good
But
idea.
Well, no, society is made up of families and parents, you know, and what you're saying is, you know, the state or a political class which wants to push a particular agenda, which has failed.
Well, it hasn't failed. I'm sorry, I disagree with you
Well,
completely.
You keep ignoring all the evidence.
You know, I'm
Well,
sorry.
Okay,
I disagree.
We've got no STDs. We've got very low abortion rates. We've got lots of people really happy.
Oh, don't tell me.
following
You're not.
education.
You're not a ban abortionist as well, are you? You're not one of those.
Well,
You're not
I'm
one of
afraid
those
so.
who, whatever happens, you've got to have the child. You're not one of those, are
Well,
you?
I'm not one of those who says sex is a bit of fun, and then someone gets pregnant thanks to that attitude, and then they decide to abort the baby. No, I don't think that's great.
Really?
I
So
don't
what would
know
you
whether
what would you say then to the person, to the woman who'd had a bit of fun, and we've all had a bit of fun in our time. I'm just sad I'm so old. And then she gets pregnant because the bloke never gets pregnant. You've noticed he can go off and do whatever he wants. What are you going to do to the woman? You're going to make her have a child that she doesn't want to have?
I think the woman should be supported as much as possible. The man should be made to pay as much as possible and support, and the woman should be encouraged to cherish the life that's within
You know,
her. rather than
I'm really
destroy it.
surprised if you've heard me. Were prepared to put your head above the parapet and come and
Because
speak to me.
I can't
believe you
disagree
said
with,
that.
I can disagree with people.
Yeah.
I can
Good.
disagree
And
with people.
I'm glad you are.
I enjoy listening to them. You know.
But you know, what on earth gives you the right to decide how somebody else should live their life?
Well,
Who are
gives someone
you?
the right-
Are you some kind of god, some sort of deity that you should actually tell other people how to live their lives?
Well, do you believe in the basic principle you should not kill an innocent human being? Do you believe that or not?
I don't believe that an unborn baby
Right.
has got the same rights as the human being that
Okay.
is carrying the child. And
Right,
I
but
think
okay, but
in a
given
real
that-
world, nobody would get pregnant that didn't want to be pregnant. And eventually that will be obtained by medical science. And if people
Well,
get...
do you think that's a good thing?
Yeah,
You
absolutely.
want to separate sex from children completely?
Do you want only to have sex just because you want to have...
No.
What do you want to have? You only want to have
sex?
sex with one person for the whole of your life?
Well, I think committing yourself when you're in love to someone that's irreplaceable is a very good thing. Yeah.
You think that's how humans are supposed to be?
I think it can be hard for people, and I think you know.
Well, if
people
it
have
was,
also
if there was
but I
supposed to
don't
be, it wouldn't be
think- I
hard,
don't
would
think-
it?
Well, I don't. That's not true. I mean, there are telling the truth is how.
Hang on.
Wait. Can I say something?
Well, no, hang on. Am I talking to a religious person?
Telling the truth. Let me finish this first. Telling the truth, okay, is something that can be very hard. It doesn't mean that's not how we're supposed to live, truthfully. Okay?
Well, you can't be truthful all the time. If you told the truth all the time, you'd hurt lots of people, wouldn't you?
If you think that it's good to be good, okay, you can still recognise that it might be hard to be good, but nevertheless it's good.
Well, you're not a good person, are you? Because you want to inflict
in lots of ways I'm not.
No, you're not.
Well, what I'm saying is...
You want to make a woman suffer.
No, I
You
don't.
should be ashamed of yourself.
Well, abortion causes a lot of suffering for women. You should get someone on your show one time who feel absolutely betrayed by abortion and have many, problems, including mental health problems, as a result. There's all sorts of studies. And
funny enough, I had some idiot talking about this the other day, and then my assistant producer, Tara, who is... young girl in her 20s who's had an abortion, insisted she should be given the right of reply and came on the programme and talked about it. I'm not going to get her to do that now. We've done that before. Okay. But this is all as a result. Never mind, don't have to backtrack now. As a result, as a result of the lack of sexual education, it could be thought that at certain stages that children would be able to protect themselves from this. But that aside, unfortunately, whatever sort of contraception you use, sometimes there are accidents. Sometimes the contraception doesn't work. Sometimes there are problems.
Well, then, if you have a society that is basically hedonistic and says sex is only about pleasure and only, not that it's part of it, but only, and that basically the only way to prevent certain bad outcomes is to use a condom, you are going to get, as we have seen, a lot more risk-taking and a lot of very bad results, because you need to do...
What if it happens in a committed relationship, though? It wasn't hedonism,
Yeah, committed relationship, the couple don't want to have a child, they want to get an abortion as soon as possible. Make it so easy to get an abortion that it's done within a couple of weeks knowing that you are actually pregnant, and that will be the best thing for everyone.
Well, what you then need to consider, and it seems you're not considering this, but just consider it as a possibility which many very serious people would argue for, and I think the arguments are very strong, that you are actually dealing from the moment of conception with a new human being.
Well, you might be.
Well,
I'm sorry, I'm not.
Well, you need an embryology test.
I don't need anything, all right? I don't need anything.
2 cells, you can't be alive, can it? A human, you're saying when it's 2...
Of course it's alive.
Well, it's not 2 cells, it's not a conscious...
You'll be telling me next that spilling the seed, i.e. masturbation, is something that really should be frowned upon.
Well, I'm sure you're trying to goad me into all sorts of things, but I want to actually...
Well, no, I think... No, I'm not goading you into that on the programme. We get taken off the air.
Well, a new human being, we just heard that it isn't alive.
Anyway, listen, Anthony, I'm sorry, I didn't realise that you were a sort of staunch religious person, and obviously
I never said I was religious.
I'm pretty sure you must be. And this is a problem that I think that children are going to have to suffer because of the idiosyncratic nature of their parents.
Well,
This is why it should be compulsory, and let's hope that we get teachers who are great at offering this information to kids, that it is age appropriate, and that people can make their own minds up.
And I'm the one who is imposing my views on everybody else. That's funny. It seems to be that you are imposing compulsorily a failed experiment on lots of young people that has been disastrous and usurps the rights of parents who you assume are nearly all morons.
Anthony, thank you very much indeed. Anthony McCarthy, because I am a good bloke, I gave him the last word. And, of course, I throw it open to you, my friends. Your thoughts, 03444991000. Should sex education at school be compulsory? Of course it should, in my view, but I could be wrong.
Talk Radio.
We got entertainment, and we're not afraid to use it.